I want to go a cut deeper as it relates to race and the Black Lives Matter movement.
Uh-oh, it's about to get real. Hopefully y'all are still here because it's about to go down. Also, somebody sent me a book too called, this is dope. I already started reading this last night. It's called The Ass Backwards Way to Move Forward. I was up last night reading it. I got the page 22 before I decided to go ahead to sleep. This is my first time seeing it, and I already know it's gonna be good. And if he say something, if he pops slick and I gotta correct him or something like that, we will do just that. But y'all let me know whatever y'all want me to know in the comments. All right, let's go.
Particularly men's mind right, so that we can engage in this spiritual battle that we have going on globally, but most obviously here in America. And so my message throughout 2023 was that bearing witness requires courage, not perfection. And that message was sounded because the left and the secular use our imperfection to silence us. Well, Jason, how dare you stand on truth and stand for those things? Didn't you used to do X, Y, and Z? Didn't you commit these sins? And so my message to men was, bear witness, don't let them use your sin to silence you, and embrace your identity in Christ. And that will clean you up. And so I started embracing my identity in Christ, and then it became much more difficult. And this is 7, 8 years ago. I started wearing my faith publicly. And so once I branded myself a Christian, I looked really stupid inside of a strip club. Oh, you're a Christian. There were a number of things that I used to do that looked really stupid once I started wearing my identity in Christ. And it allowed me to stand on truth and speak on things. And so I'm not encouraging anyone to embrace their sin, but don't let your sin silence your walk with Jesus Christ. You need Jesus because of your sin.
Go ahead, bro.
I say all that to say that in 2024, I'm changing up the message. And I'm going to spend all of 24 trying to encourage men in particular to come out of the mindset of apology. We have to quit apologizing for sins we did not commit. We have to quit apologizing for America's history. And so we're selling T-shirts here from the Blaze. Stop apologizing on the front, and on the back it says America's history inspires gratitude, not shame.
My brother got whole paragraphs on his, his T-shirt. My gracious. In the back says American history. This line, that 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 line. Okay, I ain't gonna mess you. You go ahead and buy some Jason Whitlock T-shirts, bro.
And so I want to walk you through how they're using shame to further silence us, to make us unwilling to stand on truth. And there's a lot of examples of this, but two of the most powerful things going on that is silencing men and making us get into this apologetic mindset. And once you're in a mindset of apology, when it comes time to take a bold stance for what's right, you're in the wrong mindset. You're thinking, oh, I can't say anything because this group had terrible things happen in their past. And so in order to correct these terrible things that happen in their past, we have to allow terrible things to happen to us right now. And there's two groups using this very effectively, hand in hand, working together to change America. The feminist movement and the Black Lives Matter movement.
Facts and facts.
They are shaming, they are recreating America's history and promoting a narrative that is completely inaccurate. All of us that were blessed to be born here or have been granted citizenship here owe an incredible debt of gratitude to our ancestors, to our founding fathers, to our founding principles. I want to walk you through it logically so that when you get challenged on this, you will have a response. And so I'm going to first start with the...
Any black person that hear Jason Whitlock or any black person say that we owe founding fathers a debt of gratitude, you are automatically, labeled a coon or Uncle Tom. You are automatically, because it seemed like people take things out of context often. So if you aren't extremely specific in what you're talking about, there are a bunch of revolutionaries out there or revolutionary wannabes who going to believe that what you're saying sounds like you approve of 1619. You know what I mean? Like you appreciate Jim Crow. You know what I mean? Like you are the reason why they were able to get to Malcolm X, and you was the reason why they was able to get to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. because you owe them a debt of gratitude. I know he don't mean it that way, but this is why you should share these videos, because people with those mentalities, they need to hear these conversations. Unfortunately, though, they're not going to find these conversations by themselves because it's not in their algorithm. They watch only what support the way they already think. Nobody want to feel like they are wrong. Everybody want to feel like they are already right. And if in their circle they're hearing that the white man is wrong and the way that the country has been built is wrong and Make America Great Again is the most racist thing we ever heard before, because again is what, 1619? Is that where you want America to be? Is Jim Crow? Is that where you want to be? That's the mentality of the individuals whenever you say something like, we want to give props to the people who started it all. All right. So just letting y'all know from that perspective. I know y'all already know, but it's good to sometimes explain to the people in the back who don't have that understanding.
Feminists who their narrative on America's, oh my God, America is so sexist. And if it weren't for these sexist traditions, if women weren't oppressed in the 16, 17, 1800s, oh my God, the head coach of the New England Patriots would probably be a woman if we were allowed to live free in the 16, 17, 1800s. And so their narrative that they're promoting is that our customs and cultures and traditions in the workforce were a byproduct of sexism, not necessity. That is a lie. Our culture in the 16, 17, 1800s, the way women were treated and the roles that were in place for women were a byproduct of necessity and common sense. It was reflective of a culture that was trying to live up to biblical values and biblical principles. But more than that, we didn't have DoorDash in the 1700s. Men had to go out and hunt and kill and fend off wild animals and fend off attackers. And so, and it took, we didn't have vacuum cleaners. We didn't have Clorox wet wipes. It took a lot of effort to maintain a home in the 16, 17, and 1800s. Women, in their proper mindset, in my view, were so respectful and so honored by the responsibility God gave them of nurturing and developing and grooming children in the womb, because that is when life begins, that women weren't sitting around saying, oh my God, if I was an advertising executive, how much happier I would be. They weren't upset that they weren't the primary financial providers in their home. They had the greatest responsibility that God has given: life. They were responsible for replenishing the earth and nurturing life in the womb.
And now it's unpopular to want to replenish life. It's unpopular to even want a family. People don't even want families anymore. They want maybe one kid, maybe. If we even have kids at all, you know what? I got my furry babies. I got my dog and I got my cats. That's it. That's all we want. We don't even want to get married anymore. I don't want to be tied to nobody. I want to have fun. I want to do my own thing. Nobody want to have kids anymore. So we got people not wanting to have kids anymore. We got people that don't believe in a nuclear family anymore. And we got people encouraging other people to be gay, like encouraging to be gay, to just live that lifestyle. We are encouraging it. And that brings people to a screeching halt by itself. I mean, just scientifically, this just mathematically, it's not even about hate or phobia. It's just mathematically. I don't see how people are disrespected by math or by actual science, bro. But that's where we are. Jason Whitlock, he's speaking facts. Let's go.
Which is the most critical part of the development of children, what transpires in the womb. And so they have recreated this history that, oh God, it was all just sexism, and we didn't have the right to vote until Susan B. Anthony and the women's suffrage movement. And I will defend life before suffrage, because a vote used to represent the family. When we were a culture that really valued family and really understood the natural order that God intended, man serving God, woman following man who serves God, man and woman developing and nurturing children, you only needed one vote per household, because that vote was about the entire family. As they have destroyed our family structure and made this all an individual pursuit.
Life would be so much easier if it actually worked that way. Matter of fact, voting would be so much easier if it actually worked that way. No, I'm not trying to say, and I know some of y'all that's watching this believe that women shouldn't have a right to vote. I'm not saying that. If you believe that, that's your business. That's your business. But if the man represented each household, it would be a cinch. It would be a cinch to vote. The unfortunate thing will be this: we won't be voting emotionally. It would be very difficult for us to bring our feelings to the polls. And then women feel like they will be hosed in that way. Like they won't get what they want. Like if it's something on the ballot that has to do with oh man, this whole thing is hilarious to me. Absolutely, man. I'm here for it.
Now everybody has to have a vote, and everybody has an agenda that a lot of times has nothing to do with family. The risks and the sacrifices that men made for the advancement of this country and for the benefit of all of us. I can't say these weren't things that women were uninterested in, but they were certainly fine with men being roughnecks and going up on skyscrapers to build hotels and high-rises and fall to their death or injury, because that was the role that men played, and we knew that was our responsibility. The life expectancy for a woman is 7 to 9 years longer than a man in America. That's a reflection of our sacrifice as men. We have not cut. Now, I'm not saying everything was perfect, because it was not perfect. But we have not cut women a bad deal in this country. We are imperfect. Our country has been imperfect. But those of us that are believers and were believers, and the people that put together those founding documents and established this country, made incredible sacrifices that we all benefit from, and we should all have an incredible amount of gratitude towards. That is the true narrative as it relates to men and women in America. I want to go a cut deeper as it relates to race and the Black Lives Matter movement.
Uh-oh, it's about to get real. Hopefully y'all are still here because it's about to go down.
And the diversity, equity, and inclusion movement, and the anti-racist Ibram X. Kendi, and these people that have painted this narrative that America owes black people today a debt for all the wrong that transpired in the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, and 1900s. And the sacrifices that men made for the advancement of this country and for the benefit of all of us. I can't say these weren't things that women were uninterested in, but they were certainly fine with men being roughnecks and going up on skyscrapers to build hotels and high-rises and fall to their death or injury. Because that was the role that men played, and we knew that was our responsibility. The life expectancy for a woman is 7 to 9 years longer than a man in America. That's a reflection of our sacrifice as men. We have not cut. Now, I'm not saying everything was perfect, because it was not perfect. But we have not cut women a bad deal in this country.
Do y'all think women have been cut a good deal in this country? Please let me know in the comments.
We are imperfect. Our country has been imperfect. But those of us that are believers and were believers, and the people that put together those founding documents and established this country, made incredible sacrifices that we all benefit from, and we should all have an incredible amount of gratitude towards. That is the true narrative as it relates to men and women in America. I want to go a cut deeper as it relates to race and the Black Lives Matter movement, and the diversity, equity, and inclusion movement, and the anti-racist Ibram X. Kendi, and these people that have painted this narrative that America owes black people today a debt for all the wrong that transpired in the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, and 1900s.
Oh, it's about to go down. It's about to go down.
Their narrative is wrong. If they ever write a new Bible, the story of black Americans will be front and center in one of God's greatest miracles, what we all accomplished here in this country. People brought here on slave ships who participated in helping other Christian believers correct the wrongs of our past and create the freest, most opportunity-rich, safest, and most prosperous society for black people in the history of the planet. That is the proper narrative.
Now, whoever's looking at this right now, please tell me if you at least understand why some people, black people specifically, have an issue with Jason Whitlock and other black individuals who speak in such high regard when it comes to the forefathers of this nation and how black people were affected. My internet is internet. There we go.
We produced this culture, a Christian culture, produced a miracle right here in America, and we owe all of our ancestors, regardless of color, black, white, brown, whatever, we owe them a debt. Instead, we sit here today with all of this freedom, all of this opportunity, all of this equality, and we say we're owed something. The entitlement is embarrassing. Don't apologize for America's history.
Now, but Jason, I have to say this. What about the 40 acres and the mule thing? Somebody please let me know that. Because I'm telling you, I'm not for reparations. But if reparations come, hello, somebody, I'm black. Where's my check? Where's my check? With all due respect, I want my check. You know what I mean? But the 40 acres and the mule thing, could somebody please explain that to me? Because sometimes when this conversation comes up, that's what's brought to the front of the stage. Okay, let's have a conversation about it. 40 acres and a mule. What is that about? We were promised this, that, and the third. What is that about? Are you saying that we've already received our 40 acres and a mule through our own hard work? Do you think that they never should have promised that? You know what I mean? If I'm saying this correctly, anything that I bring to the stage for conversational purposes only, because I want us to have real conversations about it. Brutal honesty. I give a damn about you trying to not hurt my feelings. My feelings not gonna get hurt. You might hurt some other people's feelings out there because folk are extremely sensitive when it comes to these matters. What do you mean? My great-grandfather and great-great-great-grandfather and grandmothers and aunts and uncles and all of them died on the field for this, that, and the other, and they said that they was going to give us reparations, and they never did. We want our money. I don't care about us being $1.7 trillion in debt. I want my bread, man. I want my bread. So again, I'm not for reparations because I don't know where it's going to come from. And I actually think that it will make the economy much worse. But like I said before, if they start giving them out, with all due respect, I want my check.
It is not perfect. You're not perfect. The people complaining about you are imperfect. Our country is a reflection of our striving to be closer to Jesus Christ. And I'm just sorry, that is a fact. That's how we've made so much progress. And so there will be people constantly arguing, we're owed a debt. You must apologize for what your ancestors did. No. We owe our ancestors incredible thankfulness, incredible gratitude. We owe them a debt. We owe them reparations. We are not owed reparations.
I like how he put that. We owe them, the people who went through that, we owe them an incredible debt. So he's talking about the benefactors of the individuals who actually bled and died, who went through slavery. The people who are the benefactors, us, we owe them a debt. But we're so entitled thinking that, no, they went through that so we can be paid. So where's my bread, Fred? You know, and a lot of people, listen, I understand both sides. I think that this conversation should be had. I think that there should be equal amount of blacks, intelligent blacks, and on both sides to have this conversation ad nauseum. I don't care if we have it ad nauseum because I want to hear both sides. I think this is a great conversation. I think the reparations conversation is a phenomenal conversation to be had publicly. Respectfully, not disrespectfully, but respectfully, to a point that we're trying to get to. Just for the sake of understanding. Not for the sake of entitlement, not for the sake of demanding like a monetary amount or or land or anything like that. No, I'm not. Nah, I ain't on that. I want there to be some form of understanding. Now, if anything comes from it, cool. But if it doesn't, I hope that understanding comes from it, because at the end of the day, us not wanting to understand one another and just wanting to yell over top of each other just so we're heard, that's the problem. That's a huge part of the problem.
Don't apologize. If you're in the mindset of apology, when it comes time to stand on truth, you will fail. And we are headed towards a time where we're all going to be required to stand on truth. We have to get our minds right in order to engage in this battle. And when you actually take the time to research or just think about our history, you will become more confident in defending this country. You will become more confident in saying that we need to restore a Christian culture. When I hear a Bill Maher sit on his television show week after week, he's not saying this exactly, but this is what he's saying. He'll never admit it. But if you've been watching Bill Maher for the last 2 or 3 years, he is arguing virtually every week, man, things were better before this country went totally secular. I could crack the jokes that I wanted when this country wasn't totally secular. What he's complaining about is, again, when you remove God from the culture, there is no forgiveness.
And that's the part right there. Now, yeah, he's on it. Bill Maher is complaining because he's a comedian. And you're taking away my words and you're taking away my thoughts. I can't do comedy. I have to tiptoe around and not offend people, or else I'll be canceled and my whole livelihood is stripped away from me. Okay, I get it. Bill Maher, there was a time where he used to be able to say whatever he wanted to say, but that's the sense of entitlement as well. But somebody said something, and I pinned this comment because I think that's important for people to understand. Freedom is better than money. I would debate that with anybody. Freedom is far better than money. Like, if you were to ask individuals who are arrested and behind prison bars right now, would you rather I pay you $5,000 or $50,000 and you stay in prison, or even let's lift it up, $500,000 and you stay in prison, or I let you out and you have your freedom? What do you think they would choose? I think they would choose their freedom. Just personally, I believe that. No, I know. Just listen. Give me my shoes. Don't worry about the laces. Go and get my shoes and my jacket. I bought a wallet in here. Y'all probably took the money out, but I need my ID and everything else. Just give me my stuff right now, and I'm out. But he's absolutely right, and I'm appreciative that you all are watching this with me, because real talk is necessary nowadays.
There is no gratitude. That's the argument I'm making today, and why you have to stop apologizing. This ungrateful, lack of gratitude attitude that we have and that is pervasive in America is all connected to a lack of understanding that we owe Jesus Christ an incredible debt of gratitude. And when you wake up every day knowing that He is the reason you're here, He's the reason you're believing, that feeling of gratitude will become pervasive. And when you see other image bearers of Jesus Christ, your mindset will be of gratitude, not entitlement.
And I'm glad, bless Jason Whitlock for bringing up Jesus, for bringing up God, This is necessary. Even if you don't believe in God, this is necessary. How is this necessary if I don't believe in God? Because at some point, we need to have some type of gratitude and appreciation for a higher being for blessing us with breath, life, family, resources, everything. That's one of my favorite songs in devotion was "This Morning When I Rose," yeah, I didn't have no doubt. This morning when I rose, yeah, I didn't have no doubt. This morning when I rose, yeah, I didn't have no doubt. I knew the Lord would take care of me. I knew the Lord will provide for me. I knew he will lead and guide me all the way, all the way. That song right there, like I feel like clapping, I feel like singing, I feel like shouting. People don't understand that when you wake up in the morning, that is a gift from God. Jason Whitlock, I didn't like this dude before. I thought everything that he said was against black people. Listen, sometimes when you have that way of thinking, it's like, it's just something about you don't like. See, look at him talking about black people again. Talking about black people should just take it. We should just take it. We should just accept. We should just expect it. We just accept it. Everything. Nah, man. There's different ways you got to look at things, man. I really appreciate this conversation. Also, the parts of it that my family, the LFR family members, are having inside of the chat as well. Very productive. Whether they're agreeing or not, they're respectful of one another, and it's all about trying to understand one another at the end of the day because we have to live here together. We have to grow together. If stores were to shut down everywhere, you know what would happen? Everybody would tend to their own backyards and try to grow their own stuff rather than creating a community of individuals where we all look out for one another. So since we're trying to pillage and we're trying to just, hold our stuff tight, that's going to create theft, thievery. That's going to create murders and a whole bunch of things that we don't want to introduce to a society that already have less than what we need and require to move forward. So we need to fix our mentalities very quickly, because if we don't, we are going to be doomed. And God will have the final say.